Pretty hilarious if it was actually on the whole time. People just sitting there watching. It's like, yep, that's how you change the settings. There you go. Hey, wait, I see something live going on there. I think something's happening.
What's hilarious is we were just sitting here the entire time talking to ourselves. That was,
yep.
That's
Hey, we know we're good conversation. That's all right.
Well, that's just funny that we sat there and we literally were talking to ourselves for how long now?
Only 5-10 minutes. No big deal.
I mean, I'm only like an hour late to the stream.
No big deal, pickle.
So they forced this new YouTube studio on me, and I have no idea how to use it. So it took me like a half hour to figure it out. And then once I figured it out, I had no idea I had to do a brand new YouTube studio key. So we had the old YouTube studio key inside of OBS. And so we hit live in OBS and I'm like, and you're like,
you missed the best part of the whole stream. Sorry guys. It was just they're not doing anything.
Oh, and it was all good. And we told the key of the universe in our intro, and we spent 10 minutes telling the key of the universe. And then guess what? We realized the YouTube key was...
Yep. The key to our YouTube
I'm like,
was
why
not
is
working.
nobody literally...
And for all those people wondering out there, the answer is not 42. Yep, we figured it out. It's been wrong all along.
But it wasn't even accurate. And so we're like, there's nobody on it. It doesn't even say that we're going live. It's like weird.
Totally weird. I haven't seen anything that said stream health is excellent before, so that's definitely a new one.
Yeah, well, I think the new YouTube studio, I think, is better than the old YouTube studio.
It just took them this long to finally implement it, where it's like, okay, now we can let go of Classic.
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, we talked to ourselves for a while now, and we finally realized we had to go back and change the studio key. And then I kept resetting the studio key like an idiot, and then finally figured out it needed to be synchronized on both.
Only one key.
One key to rule them all. Oh wait, that's One Ring. But anyway,
it's a great movie. I forgot what it is, where Sean Connery talks about one thing and one thing only, but he always says it one ping and one ping only.
One ping.
So it's like, hey, in internet terms, a ping is correct, even though we don't have any ping going on here because we're not playing a game. But I digress.
Apropos, what is up, my brother? Bass Reich, what is up, my brother? He's asking,
howdy ho.
How you doing?
Oh, we're doing. We're getting along. We're surviving.
We're doing. How is everybody out there?
Yeah. How are you? That's what we want to know. We're all here for you.
All right. Okay. The crowd is doing all right. That's
good. Yeah. Good to know they're awake. They're all here. I'm surprised they keep showing up.
Skywalker Vader. Well, hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there. So, yeah. Well, it's been a minute.
I flipped my lightsaber at you.
Yeah, so it's been a minute. That's actually what we were talking about, was how long and how inconsistent. I was laughing because we were talking about his YouTube channel and mine and how inconsistent we are. And I was like, I can't even believe anybody even tunes in anymore, because it is just a hobby, I'll be honest. I don't do this for money or anything like that. Like, I don't really make any anymore. A few $100 a month, and honestly, what I make comes from my old videos. People still actually watch my old videos, surprisingly, from Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. I do still get some viewers, so I make a
keep watching.
Yeah, $100 to $200 a month from the old videos, which is nutty that people still see value in those. Like, they go see an old, there's an event and they're like, oh, what's that? How do I do the event? And they like YouTube it and watch my video, and then they like leave a comment, hey, this helped me a lot. And I'm like, wow, they're still watching it. So that's pretty cool. Been busy, so real life takes precedent, but I did find a new game. I really love it. It's DGR, Disc Golf Rivals. The thing is that's really bothering me, I want to make videos on it, but it's a freaking video game that's vertical, not lateral. I know there's a word for that, but I hate that. I'm like, I've got to come up with now, screen recording it vertically, and then I've got to put it into, HD, and it's going to look like crap because I've got to fill the screen with something else. And I don't know. It's just been,
fill it full of Asian ads of different weird products and like wish lists and things like that.
I know, like get sponsored by Wish, and like try and sell stuff on the side.
Yeah, no, then the channel wouldn't be appropriate anymore. The kind of stuff they put on there on a regular basis is,
I know. But anyway, I can't stop hanging out with all you. I enjoy it. I love it. At a minimum, once a week is fun with this. But then I do want to make videos, because what's funny is playing this game, Disc Golf Rivals, with the guys. I joined their Facebook page, just like with Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. There's a Facebook page, and there are thousands, like 12, 14,000 people on that game, which in Star Wars, there was like 50,000 people on that Facebook page. But you know how when you're on the Facebook page, people will go on and they're new and they're like, how do you do this with, the Rebels? Or how do you do that with when you answer their question?
How do I? Why do I?
Yeah. Well, I find myself doing that literally every day. Someone's like, how do I get a new disc? And I'm like, oh, well, you just save up the crystals they give you for free, and you go into the disc store every day and wait until they drop a disc you don't own. And then you just buy the disc. Once you have the disc, then the game will start to give you the discs cards, but you can't get the disc cards until you have the disc. So you either have to buy the disc or you've got to wait until it drops in the store, and then you get to buy the disc. But this game, the game I play, Disc Golf Rivals, they give you a ton of free crystals. I get probably 200 crystals a week for free without there's no arena.
Without climbing, without having to be
PA. There's no time. Crazy. I don't have to spend
Enjoy that while it lasts.
I know, right? There's no you have to do this on a certain day or a certain time or a certain period of whatever. They give you that. And then every week they do a server update, and it's in the middle of the night, 4 a.m. on Sunday or something. I don't know. It inconveniences somebody in Asia, but you know what I mean? So I feel bad for that person or people that play the game, but this is, a good game. And then they're like, here's 200 crystals for everybody. We're sorry, for doing routine maintenance. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I don't know, but somehow it might have inconvenienced somebody. So again, sorry about that. Here you go.
Yeah. So anyway, they're super generous. Have you ever had a battle in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes where you're battling and the game glitches and your buttons disappear and you can't finish the battle, and it's an arena?
Never happened before.
It's an arena
with
battle.
An expensive game like that and all the wonderful development they do, they never have a glitch ever, right?
And it's
guys?
an arena battle, and you lose, and so you lose your climb or whatever, and so you lose crystals, aka whatever. So in this game, you have basically money. They call them coins, but it's like the gold of the game, and you have to put it up to play a game. And if you win the game, you get the gold back plus the purse. You each put up, let's say I put up $500,000, they put up $500,000, and if I win, I get the full million back.
So it teaches you gambling too.
Yeah, and if you lose the $500,000 you put up. But every game is gambling on phones. But
of course.
But the point is you're playing a disc golf game, and if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. But what happens if the game glitches, like in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes?
And you legitimately lose something.
And you legitimately lose your purse. It's just a virtual game, right? So what? You lose $500,000. Well, in this game, $500,000 coin is a lot. So what do? You send a letter to the developers and say, yo, I lost $500,000 on a purse because of a game glitch. Mm-hmm. So what do? They ignore you and give you nothing. No, I'm just kidding. They
that's what we're used to. I mean, that's how it works.
They send you a letter that says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Here's $500,000 coin back. I apologize." All you got to do is send a screenshot of or a video of it looping, because it sometimes the game gets caught in this weird ass loop, and they see the video and they're like, "Oh yeah, we were working on that. We're sorry."
Yeah. We're working on better ways to ignore you. Sorry. Well, we'll figure out how to do that better next time.
So it's funny. They're like, oh, we want to be a good game developing company. Here's, and this has happened 3 times.
You call up, and Wayne from Letterkenny's hanging out there. He's like, hey, how are you now? Oh yeah, we'll take care of that then. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just come on up the laneway. I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah. So it's just funny because it's such a better game. There's so much more generous as far as the crystals go. It's a lot like Clash Royale. If you've ever played Clash Royale, where you got to get collect the cards to get your characters good, and then you battle against another person. It's just obviously you're playing disc golf. So it's like golf kind of, but disc golf. But anyway,
I do like the sound effects in that game. Whenever you pull back your disc and release
sounds like a rubber band.
Well, it sounds like a rubber band, but it also sounds like you're whacking a golf ball. So. It's like, hold on a second here.
Well, it kind of has a rubber
disc
band
with a titanium shaft on it.
So the makers of it did make Golf Rival, and they literally went from Golf Rival to Disc Golf Rival, and they copied and pasted
Golf ball.
And so now
let's just change that JPEG with a disc, and boom, we got ourselves a different game.
Yep. And so now they have to kind of go back and start to fix some of those things.
That's awesome.
But it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. All right. So Bassreich says he's actually arena climbing as we speak.
Oh, nice.
Apropos says he hopes the crew's doing well. Not too many sunburns from the mountain bikes, but I'm thinking he's saying hikes. Cause I've been going on a lot of hikes lately. Next suggested video this stream and last the 2-week-old territory battle for dummies. Oh yeah.
Right, there you go.
That's hilarious. That's a funny
plug
suggested
with the plug for the plug.
I know. Well, that's funny. That's being suggested. A 2-year-old video for territory battles. Hey, you two, what's up, Carl? Relevant. Yeah, what's up, Carl? Bassreich, these videos are still relevant and so valuable. A lot of them are. Skywalker Vader, porgs. Apropos, are they run by Canadians?
Porgs are tasty.
Bassreich, that never happened. Star Wars is perfectly programmed. Oh,
perfectly.
100%.
110.
Call says happens all the time. Yeah, for sure.
110.
What's up, Jacob? John? He says, greetings from Denmark. What up, brother? He said, hey, Jacob, my name brother, if I remember correctly. SureShot. Yep.
You even spelled it right. Well done.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that Jacob Jan? Jahn? So I gotta say that correctly because I know that
Jan or
Jan
John.
And John is definitely a
John
common name out that way.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry.
If any of you guys happen to watch the Ilvis videos, the guys who did the What the Fox Say,
they're awesome.
Their personal UN super fighting hero man is Jan England.
Jan. Oh yeah,
but he's just J-A. He's just Jan, I think, and it's England, not England. So I have to make sure to
the last word. Mr.
Correct
Wonderful. Yeah. Have you been tempted to pick Star Wars back up since you quit? Mr. Wonderful asks. I haven't even thought about it. Actually, I miss him
in the game because there's some questions that I have once in a while, but then whenever it comes down to asking you a question about something that you wouldn't know yet, or it's like, I don't want to bother you with it because one of the things where you're like, I don't really play that anymore. I don't want to be tempted by it. Just kind of, whatever. I kind of go, that just shows how much I'm actually interested in the game still. So I guess if it wasn't for the fact that I had 2 great accounts to play with, I probably wouldn't be playing anymore.
Oh, his last name's German.
Ah, okay.
Mr. Wonderful says, congrats on breaking free. I just honestly, when I think about the game, I get, or when I hear about like a new character or something, I actually get discouraged.
You didn't get super excited that they put Mon Mothma in the game? I mean, we really, really needed her in there.
No, and even when they were like, Darth Vader got so reworked, he's like kicking all the like pay-for-play characters' butts.
Kicking the Galactic Legends
This is
butts.
the opportunity to come back. I was just like, I still can't support those developers. Like, they're still not talking. They're still not helping. They're still not, like, just because they do one thing right doesn't, or even if they make POW amazing.
Well, it's like one makeup thing
Mothma.
for a lot of things that they've needed to publicly apologize for and make right for a long time. It's just kind of, patting it over, banding on a broken arm.
I'm sorry. I'm a principled guy. I just am. And it's like, I left for many principled reasons. It took me 4 freaking years to be principled enough to just finally say, I'm done, I'm walking. And it was like, listen, I was making $3,000 a month on YouTube. I had, almost 1,500 of that with patrons. I was doing YouTube video, 3 to 5 YouTube videos a week. I was making, great YouTube money. When I knew I was going to quit Star Wars, I knew I was literally walking away from a job and quitting a revenue stream and walking away from money. I mean, that's a lot of money. $3,000 to anybody monthly is a lot of money.
I was
giving up money. I was addicted.
Granted, I've been making a lot of money lately, but something like that I could use.
Being honest, I was addicted. I think anyone that plays the game, any game you play on any game, I'm addicted to Disc Golf Rivals. It's I'll be honest, anytime you play a game daily, you get addicted to it. I was addicted. So I had an addiction. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy the game itself most of the time. I enjoyed the community more than anything.
I still enjoy aspects of it.
Yeah. And then I had the financial side, and I had to come to a point where I was like, I'm willing to give up the aspects that I enjoy, the game aspects that I enjoy. I'm willing to walk away from most of the community, because most of the community, not all, but most will turn their back on you once you're no longer a Star Wars player. You know, most of them are just gonna be like, well, never mind him. Because
no offense to anybody out there, it's a pretty toxic community.
It is. Not the people here, because the people here are obviously the only toxic, or the non-toxic
the
only non-toxic people. It's why they're tuning in. These are the people that actually give a S, you know what I mean? They're the ones who
they're inquiring minds.
Exactly. Yes. They're the ones that hang on, but they're the vast majority of people bail on you. So this is the cool group, but the rest of people bail. But so you lose that.
Well, any of the forums you go to, you can read those for 2 seconds and realize that people are there just to make fun of other people. Like you're basically just wanting to ask legitimate questions, and you're just offering up fodder for them.
Most YouTube viewers are trolls and things like that. And so and then the aspect of money. I mean, YouTube went from being a job and 5 videos a week and $3,000 a month to a hobby once a week with a couple $100, if that. So it was like, I had to give up a lot. It was like a huge loss. And I had to come to acceptance of that and walk away from all that and come to that point of acceptance. And that's difficult. I think anybody who's ever worked a job for 4 years and loved a community and loved an addiction, you know, walking away from an addiction, walking away from a community, walking away from it was super difficult. But once I made that decision, I had to have those reasons, those principled reasons why. And I did have those principled reasons why I would come back. And I set those in stone. I was like, you know, if they were to change these things about it, I would come back. They've not.
Right.
They've not. So anyway, let's see.
Well, we've talked all about the game.
What's up, brother? They really are scum. They really are, guys. I mean, no harm, no foul. You guys still play, and I do not judge anybody who still plays the game. Trust me, I understand. I truly understand. For me, it was the right thing.
I still play pretty much every other day.
Yeah. Mr. Wonderful says there is a reason why you and Mobile Gamer quit. I've watched you since you started in 2016 and completely get why you stopped. Anyone else having issues? Videos keeps quitting in out on me. That's weird because shows.
Yeah, we're showing good on this side, but I think a few other people are saying it's looking good for them. So hopefully just a refresh for you.
Yeah. Whoever, Zevius, I think that's just on you, buddy. I'm sorry. Maybe just refresh or whatever. Were you spending more on Star Wars Galaxy Heroes to keep up monthly than you made on YouTube? No, it never got to that point except for 1 month. There was 1 month that I actually spent more than I made, and that was a wake-up call for me, and I was like, when that month...
Well, shoot.
I always had a budget, and I always spent just a percentage of what I made. And it was always like, in my mind, it was a justification. Like, this is an expense, right? You know, I'm doing this, but they kept making things more expensive. And so my budget kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. And I was like, oh, well, and it was like, originally you could buy a character for $300 and it kept you good. One character, $300, you were good for 6 months. Then it was like, you had to have 3 characters for $300, but you were good for 6 months. And then it was like, you got to have 5 characters for $300 and you're good for 6 months. And then it was like 5 for $300, but you're only good for 3 months. And then it was like 5 for $300 and you're only good for about a month. And then it was like 3 characters at $500 a piece and you're only good for 3 months. And then it was like 5 characters at $500 and you're only good for 3 months. Like, they just kept increasing the investment amount and had to shorten how good or how long that investment was worth. And then there was times where it was like, this character is going to be amazing. You buy him and it's like, it's trash. And you're like, oh.
Out the gate trash.
Out the gate trash. And we're like,
then
sorry.
You have the Galactic Legends that I think were about $1,500 a piece to even get. And by the time you get them, you're like 1 to 2 months into it, and now they're just garbage.
So that was the breaking point. I did I was like a Kraken, and I looked at how much as a Kraken with everything I had in, I was like almost 7 million. I was like 6.6 or 6.5 or whatever. How much would I have to invest to get both of them? Because I wanted both of them. And it was like almost $3,000. And I was like, seriously?
Like, no.
Someone who's invested as much as I've invested into this game, and I hate even calling them investments, as someone who's wasted as much as I've wasted into this game.
Somebody who's gambling away this much money.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to, you're going to reward me by making me spend $3,000 into this game just to stay relevant for the next maybe 4 months.
Come on now.
$3,000, I'm done. And and with no communication, no, anyway.
No glitch fixes.
Yeah.
Developers
anyway.
being mean. Yeah. No thanks.
Yep. Cimarron and Lazalia, what's up? Yeah, we do miss you. Like I said, I do want to do the disc golf rival videos. I know some of you would still watch those videos, and actually, I still enjoy education. Like I'm still on their like Facebook page, and I do post videos, small ones, and teach people on that Facebook page. I just need to get over the hump of making YouTube videos for them because, like I said, it's in the wrong aspect ratio. The game is in the stupid vertical aspect ratio.
It's at the wrong angle.
I hate that. I really do. I really hate when game makers are like dumb and they make games vertically.
Yep.
That's dumb.
There's a couple of them that I play that would prefer it to go that way because really when it comes down to it, the Star Wars game gets a little bit of my play time, but about equals as much as Johnny Trigger, which is just a pretty simplistic side-scrolling, vertical game like that. So definitely nothing too impressive.
Jacob says his sound is like 5 seconds ahead of the picture. That is weird. Maybe just refresh. I have no idea why that would be the case.
It's a sign of things going too well.
Mr. Wonderful. Did you ever enjoy MSF? I did when it first started, but the problem with MSF for me was I saw the writing on the wall that it was just another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes 2.0.
Yep.
That they were maybe slightly better developer-wise. You know what I mean? They were a development team that wanted to be better, but it was still going to be a Star Wars 2.0. And I was like, I can't do two of these.
Nope.
And I was so invested.
When you're looking for something different, it's like, it's different template overlaid, basically. You have different characters, sure, different colors, maybe a few different noises and sounds, but other than that, it's kind of like, nope, I feel like I'm playing two of the same game.
Yep. Yeah.
There's one that just came out, or I don't know if it's how old it is, but it's called Ebony, and it's one that gets advertised all the time when you're sitting there trying to do something else. All of a sudden, an advertisement pops up from a free game you're playing, and it's like, oh, it's so silly. This guy doesn't know how to play the game. I could play it better. So I downloaded it just to play it better than what the demonstration was. That is only one small aspect of the game that I saw. When I actually downloaded it, started playing it for a little bit, it turned out to be exactly like this invasion game that I used to play. It's a Hong Kong game, Tap for Fun, and it's all about pay to play. And it's all about having to be on at a certain time, shielding your base so you don't get attacked. If you get your army destroyed, you got to spend copious amounts of money and time to get it all rebuilt. And I was just like, oh, wait, this again? Nope, deleted. But they tricked me. They got me into it because, of course, it's medieval compared to modern warfare. So there you have it. Got some settings there that might be able to change the situation here.
Yeah, I'm just seeing how that works. Gonna do that, and that might help. Seeing if that helps.
And I guess Jacob's saying it helped to refresh YouTube, so that's good.
Yeah, hopefully that helps.
We'll refresh on our end, you refresh on your end, we'll get back together.
Well, they made a suggestion to me, so that was really cool. YouTube never used to make suggestions. And now they made a suggestion. They said, hey, to optimize this stream, you should go to this bit rate. And I was like, huh.
All right, then.
That's pretty nice. Pretty neat.
I like suggestions.
Yeah, so if anybody's having any issues, you can refresh. That'd be pretty cool. Stream health is back to excellent. Well, look at that. Apropos,
you can tell it's a good stream by the way that it is.
Yeah, you can tell it's a pretty good stream by the way that it is. Well, we will have story time. It's kind of an interesting story time. It has a good ending ish.
Good endings are good.
It was recent.
I think we already talked about our week before we actually got onto the live stream, so I guess it's probably irrelevant anyways. Nobody's probably curious as to how we're doing.
We talked about the whole how we were doing, and then we realized that we weren't even streaming when we thought we were streaming. I just picked 5 poll the internet questions for you and I both.
Yep.
We talked too much on the intro anyway, so that's why we only did 10 cards.
Right.
Okay, who goes first? Let's do it. Okay. You go first. All right. We're going to end up answering all 10 anyway, but the way it works, if you're here live, that's the best way. You're fam, you get to answer 2 right on the...
It's all about points and none of them matter.
That's right. And so he's going to read it. You're going to answer. I'm going to answer. Eventually, he'll probably answer 2. Put your answer in the comments. We'll read them, of course. We love to see what you guys' thoughts, and gals, if you're a gal, we want to hear your thoughts on the question.
For some reason, I never think about that. I always assume it's a bunch of guys we're talking to.
Well, 97% are guys, 3% are females.
Yeah, I get all that, but it's just something in my head I got to switch around because I might make certain comments that I shouldn't.
These are all poll the internet, which means that there will be a poll at the end where we'll tell you what the percentage of the internet thinks about this particular question. And then I just picked 10 random. I have no idea what these even say.
Which is also important because we need to know what the internet thinks, right?
Yeah.
It thinks for us now, just like the news media.
Yeah, the internet, the interwebs. If for some reason you're watching this after the fact, that's okay. You can still play. You just watch the video like a normal YouTube video because you're bored on the pot or whatever reason, in your semi or whatever you're doing, hanging out, listen to it. And then after the fact, you can always go into the comment section later on and you can type in all your answers or a couple answers to a couple of the questions that stuck out to you or all of them, whichever you like or whatever you prefer. And then we will obviously go back. I always respond to each and every comment on each and every comment that you leave after the fact. But we will do it live right now. So are you ready to go? We're going to do this.
I'm ready to go.
Do it.
On that note, I would like to see somebody actually go and comment and answer each question categorically, number them, and space it all out correctly, use good punctuation and grammar. That'd be pretty tight.
We're ready. Let's do it.
Good grammar is tight. All right, so this is a poll of the internet. Which group is worse?
Which group is worse?
Here we go. We're getting controversial already.
Oh, no.
A, the people who clap during a movie, my brother, or B, the people who clap when the airplane lands.
Oh, this is easy.
Now, it says during a movie. I will throw a caveat in there. My brother always likes to clap at the end of the movie as if there was performers up there, vying for our attention.
Yeah.
But
no. So when the plane lands, if people want to clap when a plane lands, that's stupid, but it's fine.
I'd almost call it offensive too. Like what? You didn't have any faith in the pilot who had to go through ridiculous schooling and have to undergo all kinds of stringent standards to even be in that cockpit.
So you're fine though. Whatever. Clap because you think your pilot's amazing or whatever. That's fine. Weird, but it's acceptable. You're clapping during my movie. I'm breaking your fingers.
Almost as bad as the people who answer a phone call in the middle of the movie and then act like it's no big deal.
It's not even close. I know everybody. Call says during a movie. Joseph says during a movie. Mr. Wonderful, not even close. Bassreich says the movie, especially if there's no filming crew and actors. I know, right? I think for most people, it's definitely.
I've gone to plays before where it is appropriate to applaud, in between scenes or whatever, especially after a great scene from somebody. So that makes perfect sense because there's somebody there to actually receive the applause. But when it's just a movie screen, like the projectionist back there is just like, thank you, I do it all for you.
So what was A and what was B?
So A being the people who clap during a movie, or B being the people who clap when the airplane lands.
So Jacob, why'd you say the people who clap when the plane lands? I want to hear your reasoning behind, because you're the only one that says when the plane lands, that's worse.
B, yeah. Personally, I'm a kind of guy who I'm annoyed by it, but I don't care if you clap after the movie's over. But if it's during the movie, then that's a.
Mr. Wonderful says that's the worst part of seeing a Star Wars movie on opening night. You know what, though? There's a difference between like Star Wars with Star Wars fans and like the cheering that goes on during a really good scene of a Star Wars.
Well, for all the new Star Wars movies, you have to clap because there's only so few good scenes in there that, when you get some good fan service for a change, it's like, oh my God, you actually pay attention for a second.
Right? So he said, why should people clap for someone doing their job? I don't get it. Oh, okay. You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Granted. So you're the kind of person who probably doesn't like to tip waiters, then.
That's
just
hilarious.
Just a thought.
That's hilarious. No, I just think the flying thing is irritating, but I can handle it. But clapping in the middle of a movie, like, don't do that. Just don't.
That's true. And good point, Jacob. It's just his job. It's not a performance. Well, yeah, true. To an extent, it's not, I'm not here for your applause. I'm here to get you here safely. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, you clap for a performance. Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
That was a solid defense. Solid defense, Jacob. Solid defense. Yeah. Ray, it's not a Skywalker.
Which is No, she's not. But interesting thing about this, though, the poll for the internet, 62% of Barstool readers chose B, not A. They are obviously not annoyed at the same things we're annoyed at. They think it's more annoying, or what the group is worse, are the ones who clap when the airplane lands.
Wow, so they agreed with Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought that clapping at a plane landing was more annoying than people clapping in the middle of a movie. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I mean, granted, I take flying planes seriously, but
he's like,
I take my movies more seriously.
Yeah, apparently. Okay. Okay, this is an interesting picture.
I guess I have stronger opinions about performance art as opposed to opinions about somebody doing their job good enough or not, you know?
So this question is obviously these are all poll the internet. Would you rather
But right now you're polling me.
Yeah, would you rather be able to only eat cream cheese or ketchup? Cream cheese or ketchup, and you can only eat cream cheese.
Now, see, here's where the literal person in me likes to chime in and be like, so
that's the only thing I get?
That's the only thing I get to
I will
eat,
die.
right? Yeah, I'm not going to, either one, sorry. That's just
die.
a cardiac arrest waiting to happen.
Yeah. I'm interpreting it as you can only have one or the other in your life.
Only
like
one or other for their intended purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
That's where I would have taken it. I mean,
that's
where I should
give
assume.
up.
It's like, I fill in the blanks for a lot of people these days. It's just hard to kind of take people, in their literal sense because there's always a caveat. With women, it's even worse.
Yeah,
but
they should have worded it. If you had to give one of these two up, which would you give up? Would you give up ketchup or would you give up cream cheese? But the way it's worded is you're going to eat cream cheese for the rest of your life for every meal, or you're going to eat tomato ketchup. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For the rest of your life. That's how it sounds. But right. I'm guessing, like you said, for the intended purposes, you're going to have to give up one or the other. Would you rather be able to only eat cream cheese for its intended purposes or ketchup for its intended purposes for the rest of your life?
Being the healthy person that I am these days and the kick that I'm on, I can say that cream cheese is probably slightly healthier for you, especially the good kind, than ketchup would be. And I think I use ketchup more often than I use cream cheese, but I would still give up ketchup first.
Okay.
Yeah, I could probably do without that before I could do without cream cheese if it came down to only those two.
Mr. Wonderful says ketchup. Jacob says ketchup.
Yeah.
I see no Jedi here says ketchup. Bassreich says cream cheese. Call says cream cheese. Too much sugar in ketchup. You're right. Yeah, there is like more sugar in ketchup than in a soda. And if you know how much sugar is in a soda, you'd throw up if you knew how much sugar was in ketchup. Yeah. That's why people are addicted to ketchup and they're like, it's on
Well,
everything.
and there's something a little off-putting to me about a condiment that doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Cream cheese. You know what? I got to be honest, I don't use ketchup for anything.
Yeah.
I actually have abstained from ketchup for a very long time because of the sugar content, because sugar activates.
It's just odd
sugar
to me.
activates cancer, and I've had like 7 close friends die of cancer. So I've tried to pull sugar out of my diet as far as like additive sugar. Like if something has sugar in it, I'm like, whatever. But if I'm going to add something to something, I don't want to like add sugar to sugar. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
So
and when it comes to like alternatives like stevia or whatever, you might as well just leave the sugar out in my opinion, because who the heck wants that garbage in there?
Well, and like when I go to let's say I was going to go to like Wendy's, I don't get a soda. Or a pop or a soda pop or, whatever you want to call it, a Coke. I mean, everyone calls it something different, regionally, but I don't, and if one of my, kids get one, I might have a sip of it, but I don't order one for myself because that's just like pure sugar. So I just don't do ketchup. So my answer would be cream cheese. And then of course like you said, you can get some very healthy cream cheese options out there. And then it's moderation, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
All things in life.
Everything in life's moderation. So,
which means I need to stop gorging myself on politics these days. I tell you.
Yeah. Jacob says, ketchup goes well with almost everything, because it's full of what? Oh, homemade ketchup is more healthy, but his flavor is something.
Unami?
Yes.
Urnami?
Apropos says, goodbye cream cheese. Almost never eat it anyway, even with the sugar. Apropos says, my kids in ketchup sigh. Yeah. Mr. Wonderful. Homemade ketchup's good. I'd be interested
for kids
in
like
trying.
that. Like chicken nuggets are just a receptacle to get the ketchup in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Donuts are there just to get the frosting to you.
Joe Wagner says ketchup with a side order of fries. If any of my kids were asked this question, they would be like, goodbye cream cheese. Well, except for my Annabelle, she'd probably choose cream cheese over ketchup because she eats cream cheese on a bagel pretty much every morning of every day of her life. But
it's a good combo.
Yeah. Apropos, Warrior just made my tombstone. He ate sugar. Rest in peace. Yeah, apropos, if you're having that much sugar, brother,
No. That's too much sugar. Because again, in things moderation, sugar's not terrible.
Reduce your sugar intake, man. I've literally lost 7.
Refined, bleached white sugar, though. Yeah, if you eat nothing but that in excess,
I've lost 7
then
friends
you're probably
to
asking
cancer, and one of them was like drinking a gallon of Diet Coke every day.
for it.
And you know what they do when you have cancer? To find the cancer, they actually inject you with sugar. I'm not even kidding you. And then
It activates the cells.
it activates the cancer cells. They literally inject you with sugar, and then they look at you and,
Yeah, for those of you who don't know,
Under
sugar
imaging.
is cancer's favorite food.
yeah. And then they look at you under imaging, and literally when they inject you with sugar, the cancer goes, and they can see where the cancer is. That's how they find the cancer, is literally injecting you
I
with
guess
sugar.
that and white blood cells.
Well, yeah, because you can find where the white blood cells are going crazy and, attacking and stuff like that. So, yeah. But cream cheese has different flavors too. That's true. Ketchup is ketchup. Although I have seen some weird ass different flavors of ketchup. I'm not even kidding you, like spicy ketchup and like a barbecue ketchup and some other weirdness.
Trying to join all the fun. I mean, Cranberry's been doing it for forever. They've been injecting themselves into every different flavor of juice you can even think of. So now I guess ketchup and cream cheese have to go along.
So he was saying it's just like different flavors of that. That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. Love it.
Pretty cool.
The more you know.
I see no Jedi here. That's how they find cancerous cells. I'm 100% correct, dude. Yep. I've lost too many friends to cancer, and I've had too many cancer doctors tell me,
My mom just
we're
recently
injecting
beat
blah, blah,
breast
blah,
cancer,
blah.
yeah.
I'm like, what is that made of? And they're like, oh, it's sugar. It's literally like sugar water. We're like injecting this into them to find a cancer. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? They're like, yeah. And then the doctor's
Give it its
like,
favorite food,
you may
watch it
want
activate.
to, not eat, refined sugar as much as you do, just so you know, just FYI. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, and there is alternatives to a lot of these foods we're talking about, so it's not as if you need to cut this out of your life completely. The problem is now you have to do a lot of research, and you got to be a research junkie to be able to eat properly these days because there's so much garbage in our food, thanks Monsanto, that you can't really, differentiate and just take it by its label. Because I think there's a lot of people that actually get these barcode scanners that'll scan the food, and it'll tell you good food or bad food and all the reasons why.
Yeah. Matt B says, what up? He's all, thanks for the tweet last night. I know, right? I finally tweeted and let everybody know. I was way off on the time by like almost an hour, 40 minutes. And then the Sage says sugar's bad for you. There's no Surgeon General warning. Yeah, well, there's always money behind something when there's not a warning. Remember, cigarettes went like 80 years without a warning. It wasn't
way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of things in this life go way too long. I mean, there's no Surgeon General for warnings for a lot of things, but wear your mask.
Yep.
So, sugar is just about in everything. It is, unfortunately. It's great for a lot of stuff.
When they said
kind of
sugar,
like cornstarch is great for a lot of stuff.
I was going to say, when they realized sugar was bad, they changed the name to high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
And now high fructose corn syrup is in everything. If you go and look at anything you buy, look at the ingredients, and the very first ingredient for anything processed, almost 100% of the time for anything processed, almost 100% of the time, the very first ingredients it's either, almost always high fructose corn syrup. That's just sugar. It's just refined.
Xanthan gum, yellow 5.
It's just refined sugar. And it's the worst kind of sugar you could possibly have. It's the absolute worst kind of sugar you could possibly have. That is the cancer causing sugar. That is the absolute worst. Anyway, I had cane sugar though down in Brazil where they literally cut the cane and give it to you and you just chew it and suck on it. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. That I liked,
Different kind of sugar. I'll eat some of that.
That's like real, like salt of the earth, sugar of the earth, whatever. Yeah, that was pretty good. Emery neat.
Mr. Wonderful, you are exactly right on that. Yeah, a lot of the substitutes we have are not doing us any favors, even though they claim that, especially with all these like
aspartame,
fat-free foods. If you want to eat a fat-free food and think that you're losing weight, well, guess what? You're just loading yourself up with sodium because that's usually the alternative when they take something out that gives you fat.
They made aspartame, put it in a bunch of stuff, and then 10 years later, they're like, well, we've been giving aspartame to other animals, and it's killing them for cancer as well. And we've been putting aspartame as a sugar alternative for the last 10 years, and it's causing cancer in humans too. We should probably go away
at a higher rate
than sugar. We should probably go away from aspartame now. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But good luck with those headaches. Moving on to the next poll the internet question. We already got yours.
I see no Jedi here is like freaking out. I was like, I got to really reevaluate my life choices now.
Well, and yeah, what is it? Joe Wagner, exactly right. Stay away from those energy drinks. I have a whole story time for you on just what energy drinks can do to you after a long-term abuse. For sure, it's rough. So moving on to the next poll, the internet question. It's another would you rather. A, be permanently hungover, shoot me now, or B, never be able to drink again.
So easy one for me. I would just never drink again. I can't stand being hungover, and that's one reason why if I do have a drink, which I don't do often, but when I do, I only have one or two. Like I'll have a couple fingers of scotch when you come over, like maybe once every 3 months or once every couple of months, and we might have 2 glasses or one or 2 glasses together, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's a social thing with you when you come over, or maybe another friend. I don't drink a whole lot. I might have a friend that comes over and brings like a 6-pack of IPAs, and I might have 1 or 2 IPA with him.
Yeah. If I get crazy some nights and I drink 3, it's like it takes 2 hours and suddenly I just get this massive headache. It's like it's not worth it. I mean, they taste great. I do still like beer, but and again, another great example of all things in moderation, because beer and wine especially are very healthy for you if you consume them on a regular basis. There's all kinds of health benefits to both of them, but if you're excessive about it to the point where your liver is saying, "Hey, I hate you and I want to climb out of your stomach," well, then there's a problem.
Yeah, I could just give it up. I'm not addicted, so I could just give it up and be like, nope, that's fine.
Oh yeah,
and
B is definitely the easier one for me too, because just drinking up altogether, if it was that or permanent hangovers, absolutely.
Oh, by the way, on mine, the ketchup one, the internet said 58% said cream cheese. For everybody who was wanting to know what the internet thought.
So the internet would give up cream cheese before they give up ketchup?
No, they would choose cream cheese. They would rather eat cream cheese. 58% of them would rather choose cream cheese.
I guess I could have guessed that one.
And 42% would rather have the ketchup. Sorry, I wanted everybody to know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Call said never drink again, but having a glass of water with every drink eliminates the chance of hangovers most of the time. It does help your liver process better. Never drink again, Mr. Wonderful says. He doesn't drink anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. So Matt B's the same way. Matt he'd give up drinking, although he didn't answer, but I think he's trying to refresh the live stream.
Yes.
Yep. Bassreich.
Some people, it seems like when they're just joining in the middle of it, they're having problems, and as soon as they refresh, it goes back to normal. So I don't know if
Joe
YouTube is just
Wagner says, never drink again. I used to be drunk every day. Oh, the joys of youth. Man, when I was young, I did that for a short period of time, and in between my wife and my ex-fiance, like my ex-fiance cheated on me, so that was fun. And then my wife, right? But there was that period of time in between where I was like, all women are evil, and
we all go through it.
Yeah, and so I drank way too much during that time, and I remember a few mornings where I was like, I'm never drinking again.
Until next weekend.
Yeah, until next weekend. But no, I literally, those mornings, right? Where you wake up and you're like, I am never going to drink alcohol again. And then, of course, because you used the word never, God's like, okay, we're going to do this again.
Yeah. We're going to see how you do it that next test.
He used the N-word. He said never. So we're going to do this again. We're going to do that again.
It's truly bad N-word.
Yeah, you can't be saying never, man. You can't be saying never.
It's funny. I tell people about my partying days or my, drinking binges and things like that. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I usually get I remember my first beer.
You're like, what?
Like, I thought that was pretty rough, but I guess not. I've never had to go that excessive with it. But
what did the internet say?
When they polled Barstool readers, 78% said B as well.
They'd rather give it up.
That's a bigger percentage than we've seen in a lot of these.
Well,
we're usually like hovering around that half and half mark. But
so these questions all come from a company called Barstool Sports, and that's actually literally a bar. So that's hilarious. Kind of funny. So, all right. Jacob says, I only had that kind of a hangover 3 times in 24 years. He hates them. First time he got that drunk, he was 16. Not fun for sure. Yeah. That's not a good feeling to be that messed up.
Yeah, 16 was my first horrible drunk too. That was,
yeah.
You got to learn sometime, I guess.
It's not a good place to be for real. It's just a nasty place when you wake up and you're just like, I don't feel good. And then it takes you a half a day to feel better, where you just drink a ton of water, take some headache medicine, and go back to bed. And then you wake up a couple hours later groggy, but feeling slightly better. Yeah. And then you have to deal with the rest of the day. But
now you know what it feels like to be a zombie, just slowly coming back to life.
Yeah.
Water.
Oh, this is interesting. Would you? This is horrible, actually. These are some
Interestingly horrible.
These are some good questions. Actually, when we did this, I did this with Artisan K. Our questions sucked. The whole setup was trash. Honestly, our questions were terrible. Anyone watching?
I was loading a moving truck in Illinois when I watched that live stream.
Yeah, those questions were really raunchy. I didn't like any of them. They were not good. These are some good questions because these are some real like tit or tat. Would you rather be half your height, so you're like 3 foot tall now, or double your weight, 500 pounds, 400 pounds? So 3 foot tall or 400 pounds. For me, because I'm 250. I don't look 250, but I am. I'd be 500 pounds or 3 foot tall. 3 foot tall or 500 pounds. Good God, man. I'd rather be 3 foot tall. And this is why. 500 pounds, I wouldn't live more than a few more years. I have a friend who was 380 and he died of the coronary diseases and stuff just a couple of years ago, Kevin. And, you know, he tried to do his best, but at that weight, you know how hard it is to get any kind of weight off. And he was muscular too underneath. Like to be that big, you just really have to be strong. And in high school, he was a power lifter that just got to eat whatever he wanted. And he was he was thinner and strong. And then he just kind of
carry that mentality way too late in life. Once you start getting your mid-30s, it's just not going to hold up anymore.
Yeah. And see, I'm already married anyway. So like my wife would accept the fact that I'm 3 foot tall probably, but I really appreciate being 6 foot tall. I can reach anything. I drive, you know, way far away from the steering wheel. So if I get in a wreck, I'm going to survive. I'm not like all up in the steering wheel. We're now at 3 foot tall. I'm going to die in any wreck I'm in. By the way, that's a statistical fact. The closer you are to the steering wheel, the more likely you are to die.
A lot of people, blunt object sitting there waiting for you to.
A lot of people don't know that, but being a cop, I found that out.
Thank goodness for seatbelts and airbags.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to try and lose like 300 pounds at this time in my life. I'd rather just be 3 foot freaking tall, I guess. I don't know. I'm just being a realist. I'd rather just be short. That sucks. That's a terrible
put
question.
Me at 320 pounds or 3 feet. So, You know, I've seen a couple of MMA fighters that are in that 300 range. And at least they call themselves MMA fighters. They pretty much were just, you know, fairly mobile boxers. But these guys were 6'3" to 6'5". Speaking of Joe Wagner, how's the weather up there? So I guess, I've never had a height complex, so that wouldn't really be that big of an issue for me. But 3 feet tall does present so many extra issues than 320 pounds. But, you know, I guess if it was a matter of either or, I guess, I mean, when it comes right down to it, they didn't say anything about not being able to get the weight off. So, I mean, I'd rather go to 320 pounds, see what that looks like for me, and then work it off from there, even though it's horrible as that be.
That's realistic, though.
Because you can't...
300 is different than 500.
Yeah, true. But, I mean, like, being 3 feet tall, you can't do much about that.
No, you can't. You're forever 3 feet tall.
You can shop at, the shoe store that Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp does all the time, but that ain't going to get you up into that 5'5" range, you know? Which, of course, they both say they're 5'7". I know, but we know better, people. We Hollywood adds 2 inches no matter what you do.
I know, right? So Joseph says half his height. He agrees with me. Mr. Wonderful said he'd be 310 pounds, which honestly, you can deal with that. I mean, that's only 60 more pounds for me. I could work with that.
Yeah.
I see no Jedi said double his weight. He's so skinny, anyways. Jacob, 3 foot tall, but he's not sure how high that is, of course, because he uses meters, like the rest of the world.
Yeah, you're on the proper metric system.
Exactly. Joe Wagner says he's 6'6" and 270, so no thanks. He just doesn't even answer the question.
Either way, no,
he's like,
good.
No, I'm just going to skip this one.
That's why I said, how's the weather up there?
Yeah, you can change your weight back, but not your height. So he'd rather be the 400 and lose the weight. That is a good point. I'm so broken with so many injuries right now. I'm having a hard time right now losing just even 20 pounds at where I'm at.
Well, so if you're going to suddenly be only 3 foot tall, that's like scrunching you down to half your size anyways. So you'd be doubling your weight anyways. I mean, really, in a sense.
Oh, shit.
So 3 feet tall, suddenly squatted down at that weight. That's a 250 pound, 3 foot tall guy.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
No, I'm 6 foot tall, 500 pounds. if I have to keep the same weight,
Right.
if I have to keep the same weight, then I have to double my weight. I can't be 3 foot tall and the same weight, dude. It'd have to be like, oh my gosh, no, yeah.
Did I just change everybody's answer?
Yeah, I know. Bassreich says I'm almost already 300 pounds. Now they're all laughing. I would have to be 500 pounds. I would just have to die early, I guess. I would just have to enjoy my life.
Oh, I don't know. There's plenty of people who survive much longer than they rightfully should in the ridiculously obese category.
But that's like 100.
And, we're all about not body shaming these days, right? Even at the expense of enabling bad health.
Damn. Apropos, basically like me. I was 6'1", 250. I'm like 6 foot because I'm shrinking because of my back.
The further you get up into the 6 foot range, I think that 200 and
the reason
you're
why
not even
I'm
close to 300 yet.
The reason why I'm 250
pretty normal.
though,
I don't know.
The reason why I'm 250 though is my legs and my freaking like my lower half. Like I carry it well because I don't look it. I always win when I go to a carnival. They always weigh me and they can do 30 pounds each direction. And so they say 200 because they know that goes to 170 and 230. So they always go, get on the scale. You win a thing if we can't guess your weight. So they say 200 and they guarantee they can hit me because 170 to 230, I gotta be in there, right? Nope. I get on there and it's like 250, 247. And they're like, what the? Like they look at me and they're like, what the hell, dude? And they're like checking me for weights and stuff. And
I'm a much smaller scale. My body can put 20 pounds on and take it off and you'd barely notice the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Wonderful, 500 pounds is really pushing. That's a tough choice. I know, but I can't be 250 and 3 foot tall like he just said. That would be I would be an overweight midget, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I couldn't do that either. I'd rather be an overweight 6 foot tall.
It'd be
dude.
interesting to see how somebody looks if they can be as wide as they are tall. Never seen that before. Like I think it's a physical impossibility, but
I would just I could do cardio. I mean, I would just get on a treadmill, and I guess I would just have to do I would have to do treadmill for an hour a day every day for the rest of my life. Yeah, that would be it. Well, 60
chicken and rice, man.
60% of the internet would rather just double their weights.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they'd rather just double their weight. So I guess
is that a sign of America these days? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, it's not even so much a self-conscious thing. It's just a bit, I guess, being around too many other people in my life that have had health issues and all that, and seeing families who have lost the battle to cancer and who have won the battle against cancer. It definitely puts a different perspective on me for sure. So moving on, poll the internet. Would you rather? And would you rather, or would you rather?
Uh-oh.
Would you rather be drunk 24/7?
Man, you got all the alcohol.
I got all the alcohol ones. Drunk 24/7 or never be drunk again. This is just a slight variation on the last one that I had.
Wow.
Either permanently hungover or never able to drink again or never be Wait a second. That's an interesting one. I could play with this.
This is why you think we get the same cards every time, because they do variants.
Yeah, they do slight variances. They just changed it up a little bit.
You would have said if we got this card next week, you'd be like, "Oh, we've got this one before," and I'd be like, "No, I swear,
no,
we got
there was at least 3 times where I got the exact same card again because it wasn't even a pull the internet; it was an ask the internet or something like that. But yeah, would you rather be drunk 24/7 or never be drunk again?
Yeah, we'll just never drunk again. I can't be drunk 24/7. I got responsibilities, yo.
Exactly.
I got a family.
Actually, do you think how awesome that would be? I could win so many challenges at bars, so many bets at bars, because I could say, I could drink you under the table. I'll bet you this much money. They're like, oh yeah? And I'd sit there and drink them under the table because I could never be drunk again.
Oh, man. That's true. Because you'd be physically immune.
If we're going off their wording here, I'm sure they probably meant it as you could never you could never drink again or whatever, but no, never be drunk again. That's that could almost be one that I would play with for sure.
Yeah. Bassreich said we had this one already because with Artisan K, if I remember correctly. It had to be a variant because listen, we put a stack of cards that we go through to the left, and the box has all the ones we've never touched to the right. So, I mean, literally, we don't intermingle the cards. They must just rewrite these cards ever so slightly, and they must have just, use this.
I think they ran out of questions, and they started going in there going, well, we could reword that to make it 2 questions, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Or 3.
Caveat.
Or 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we have a stack outside the thing that we have not touched or that we've used, and then we have the box that we are going through still.
Yep.
Unless early on the first couple days, that somehow they got mixed back in the first couple of times.
I guess for going through the stack that many times, it's possible that some of them got reshuffled back in.
Like the very beginning when we first started, maybe.
Because we did
Because
do
I
a
have
good
a
job.
process, and I've had a process for
Yeah,
almost
we did
the
a
entire-
great job censoring all of them because we got like 96% of all the ones where it's just like, we're not going to put that on a live stream.
Oh man, there were a couple of cards in there that were like, what's that one? Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah.
There were a couple of those type of cards in here too. I was like, oh no, we're not doing that.
Oh, sidetrack. Was it you who was telling me that Cards Against Humanity, the company, is no longer around?
Yeah, they got in a bit of a tiff. The owners did. They got a bit of a tiff.
This darn cancel culture, I tell you.
Yeah, this just recently they got in a big tiff. The owners did, and they've gone under. They've like basically decided to dissolve. So, yeah, it's gone. They've decided to dissolve the company and go their amicable ways.
Yep. Which is kind of sad, but hey, it makes me think that the card game that I have now is going to be worth money later on, right?
Yep, it will be for collectors.
I got all the expansions, got all the add-ons, got the full pack that I got in the first place. Got this huge, I'm a terrible person. Anyways, so the poll for this one was 66% of Barstool readers chose never drunk.
Wow, these drunk people would rather never be drunk again.
I mean, when it comes to somebody who just really likes drinking that much and they don't get drunk from it, I take it that way. I think for them, they might have meant to something different, but to be both a literal person and to have to be able to play word games like that, you can just imagine how much I annoyed my mom.
Oh, this is horrible. Oh, this one's tough.
Share with the rest of the class.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this one's tough. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh no, this one's the
Should I brace
worst.
for impact?
Yeah, this one's the worst. This is definitely an A or B. You got to choose one or the other. And it's like a 50-50 on the internet too. Like they couldn't decide. It's 56% chose one.
This is a good question.
Yeah, this one's good. Hope you're ready for this. Make sure your YouTube's is refreshed. Would you rather always feel like you're about to take a crap or never know when you have to take a crap?
That's kind of the same thing, though.
No, like you literally have the urge to have to take a poo, like
Yeah, but
literally all the time.
You'd be so conditioned to feel like you had to go all the time, you'd never know if you did or not. But then if you
Or
never knew
you
if you
just
did or
never
not,
know, and then instantly it's like upon you. I would just,
yeah, call. That's exactly where I'm at right now. Pass.
you know what? Sadly, I would just rather never. I'd rather never know when I'm about to crap my pants. And then when it happens, I will hope I'm close enough to a place to
be able to clean up.
Yep. Man, they're coming in crazy fast. So Mr. Wonderful says he'd rather just always feel like he has to poop. That's the worst feeling in the freaking world, man.
Yes and no. I mean,
Jacob always feeling like he has to poop. Call, pass. You can't pass, call. You can't pass. I see no Jedi here. Oh God. Bass Reich, have to poop all the time. I see no Jedi here, have to poop all the time. Apropos, if you always need to, how can you know when you need to? Exactly.
So you'd be so conditioned to think that you have to go all the time.
Then you might actually poop yourself anyway. Apropos.
Because you're like, oh no, if it's a first date, I'm cool. I got this. I know oh no.
Joe Wagner, never know. Joseph, A, play it safe. Warriors Weekly. So this is going to be way TMI.
This is the game show that you could watch never knowing if he has to.
This is way TMI. This is going to be like way TMI. But this is why I chose my answer. So I'm just going to be totally honest. I have, when I was 5, I had a hernia, bilateral hernia.
Ah, yes.
And I had a surgery. And I was 5. They had to hack me open. I actually died because I am malignant hyperthermic. So story time. Malignant hyperthermia is MH is a special condition where I am allergic to anesthetics, which means that when they give you anesthesia to do surgery on you, you have an allergic reaction to the anesthetics and it kills you. Kind of like being allergic to a bee sting. The bee sting kills you. And so they gave me anesthetics and it triggered an allergic reaction, which killed me. And they had to like bring me back from the dead because they gave me something that gave me an allergic reaction. So sucks. But that's how they found out I had MH. So I have a rare condition, super rare. I'm supposed to wear a thing or whatever. So if I go to the hospital or whatever, they don't accidentally kill me. I don't wear it. I should. I know I'm a terrible person for not doing that. And I'll probably be my own.
Dangerously.
I'll probably be my own reason why I die, because someone will give me an anesthetic and kill me. But my mom, family, everybody knows that I have MH, and it's pretty widely known now. But that hernia was pretty bad. It was all the way across. It was bilateral. They had to go in, do surgery, and they hacked into me and all of that. Back then, it was all hack and slash. It wasn't like
it's not the mini incision with the robotic arms anymore.
Exactly. They didn't go in with like a little like orthoscopic and like it was like just like whoosh, So what you get are called lesions. These lesions are like healing, where your body like starts to connectively connect tissue to like heal. Well, these connective tissues I have a hernia down here by my groin, and these connective tissues trying to heal since I was 5. I'm, in my 40s. So almost 40 years of connective tissues pulling and tightening and getting tighter. So right now in my adult life, if I have to use the restroom, number 2, like I have to like if I like right now, if my body says go, I have to just go. Like right now, there is no wait. Okay. I just have to go. If I don't, I will literally shit myself. Okay. So that's way too much information, but I have to. And the reason why
this question strikes home.
It does strike home. So I never know until I know. And then like the second I know, it's like, so I've been at work and literally it's like, go. And it's like, I'm with a customer. I'm like, be right back. Yeah. Whoosh, and like, I just have to go. And if this is the consequence. If I don't, if I hold it like a normal human being and just try and hold going to the restroom, it's like someone takes a 5-inch knife and is stabbing me in the abdomen repetitively, nonstop until I'm about to die.
Prison rules on your abdomen.
Yeah, seriously, it feels like I'm being repetitively stabbed in the abdomen over and over and over. And there's only one solution to that prison shanking in the abdomen. There's only one solution.
Go.
I have to flex the same flexing muscles that you do when you take a poop. That flexing relieves the pain. Makes so like if you hold it and then the sharp stabbing pain occurs, I have to flex to relieve that pain, which then I shit my pants, excuse my language. So if I hold it, I'll get the sharp stabbing pain and I will forcefully shit my own pants. So I don't have a choice in the matter. When I have to go to the restroom, I have to go to the restroom. Like I've been in literally like a situation where I was like at work and they're like, you're in a seminar and you're going to be here for 2 hours and you can't leave for anything. And I'm sorry, but you got to do whatever and, do it now or don't do it at all. We're in it like 10 minutes and all of a sudden
he just predetermined me.
I know. And then like 10 minutes in, my body's like, run, do. And I just get up and run and they're just like, you can't go. And I'm like, I'm going to shit on your floor or I'm going to the restroom. Have a nice life.
Your choice.
And I took off. You know what I mean? And I come back and they're just like, but it's a medical condition.
Well,
like
that's funny because I got something very.
What am I supposed to do? Like I'm warrior, but like I also have this like severe sharp stabbing pain in my abdomen if I don't. So I'm sorry. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't like the feeling of that because it's like near death, being stabbed to death. That's how it feels, like I'm being stabbed to death. So I can't handle that.
So you have a medical exemption from this question.
I got a medical exemption from this mask question.
Yeah. That's funny because I've had 3 inguinal hernias in my lifetime and all in the same, groin area, whatever. And I got the same scarification going on there, whatever, and all that buildup. And I've had complications from it, which if any of you have all been hearing about these hernia mesh lawsuits going out right now, it would be nice if I could benefit from any of those. But apparently all of my mesh surgeries, because I had 3 of them, but 2 of them were with the mesh, and I was too long ago. I don't qualify for anything. But basically, you have a big screen that goes against the lining of your stomach and your abdominal muscles or whatever, and eventually just fuses with that. but it's a mesh that's supposed to hold up and hold back, so
Right.
it doesn't really just dissolve or go away.
Right.
But your body moves and shifts, and you work out or you don't work out, and you have things that change and move around there or whatever that mesh can't decide to move with. So basically you're ripping and tearing muscle and sinew and all that to readjust as you do something. So my heavy lifting, my active lifestyle definitely gives me some interesting sensations from all that, along with all the nerve damage down there too. So yeah, it's
and then
it's an interesting area to be messed with.
Well, and the worst part is, and this is too much information for you, man, but they did that whole thing about your kidney stones.
Oh yeah,
And they
lithotripsy.
probably destroyed your meshing or damaged it, and so now you probably have a
heavily
lawsuit.
agitated since that. Yeah.
So you probably have a lawsuit on the way
Well,
because
the biggest luck that I had with that is I was having referred pain. So when I actually had that present, I thought it was testicle torsion because that's what it felt like. It was being strangled out. So some people get the searing razor blade pains. I get the feeling like, lefties being squeezed, the point's about to pop out.
Ooh.
But when they went through into the whole procedure where
welcome to Warrior Presents. This is the medical edition of
this.
medical pain procedure.
Hope you guys aren't feeling cringeworthy today. But when they did the lithotripsy, it was actually further up my abdomen, not where those scars were, not that particular area. So they were agitated by it, but I'm sure it would have been much worse had the kidney stone that was the size of a pencil eraser had a chance to work its way down further. So yeah, interesting stuff about all that. Apparently it's more of a common thing than we realize.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I said, that question really hit home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hit me right in my gut. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, apropos says he's literally going to sleep to this.
Let us know about the dreams, buddy.
Yeah, this will be pretty neat. Be nice.
We'll start a support group after
Torsion
this.
of the testes, childhood pain scale, 10,000. Yeah,
it's on par with for sure. I mean, and I've heard it compared to childbirth, and I'm like, nah, sorry, I think the lady still got us beat on that one. It was painful, but like, I mean, I wasn't like screaming to God to take me now, and I'm screaming and yelling and hitting nurses or anything like that. It wasn't that bad. I was just basically trying my best to stay focused on the conversation, but like walking laps around the emergency room while they're sitting there trying to calm me down long enough to ask me what's going on.
Would you rather have the most painful number 1 every time, or the most painful number 2 every time?
I guess I kind of had the most painful number 2 every time. The number 1 part is probably a new pain that I wouldn't want to be a part of.
Well, you go number 1 way more than you go number 2. So I suppose if you had to pick
law of averages.
The law of averages, pick number 2. Yeah. That would suck.
Moving on.
I would stop with coffee though.
I can't stop coffee. That's a vice that ain't going anywhere anytime soon. That's the caffeine that I will keep in my life. As healthy as I can.
I would have a lot of cheese. Yep. And I would go to the bathroom once every 3 days.
Right. Yeah. Just keep that backed up. So
what was the survey set? Oh, that was 56%, by the way, about choosing. Basically,
always feel like you have to.
Yeah, 56% would rather always feel like they had to go.
I think I'd have to go with that one too, because then at least I would have some kind of something to tell me, as opposed to just, well, darn, that just happened.
Yeah. I would like to not know, but I would just have to wear adult diapers. That sucks. But
right.
I would just accept that reality, dude.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Maybe you could look into colostomy bags. Yeah. So would you rather?
What now? What'd you say?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Did you just go?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just keep talking.
It's a heavily insulated bag. You'll never know.
Better now. It's okay.
Until I go to relieve myself later. So would you rather A, burp the sound of a gong, or B, sneeze the sound of a bowling strike?
Sneeze the sound of a bowling strike.
That's a pretty cool one, though, isn't it?
I love bowling, so I love the sound of a bowling strike.
I do appreciate
the gong
the bowling.
Can get annoying pretty quickly. I mean, it's kind of cool initially.
Well, and it'd be offensive to Asians every time you burp around them. So
they'd be like, "You're what's that when you take someone's culture? What's it?
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, cultural appropriation.
You are appropriating my culture.
They'd be like, yeah, you've appropriated my culture. I'm like, no, it's I can't help it.
I know enough Asians, and especially Chinese, they don't give a crap about that.
No, they don't. That's an American thing.
Yeah, it's an American thing to be offended by something as innocuous as
that. We're the most offended culture ever. I don't know what the hell's wrong with us.
We're the most privileged culture. No wonder.
That's true.
Bunch of squealing, sniveling kids. So yeah, A, burp the sound of a gong.
I don't hardly burp either.
B, sneeze the sound of a bowling strike.
I sneeze all the time because I have allergies. So I would sneeze all the time and I would do the bowling. That would be awesome.
I don't sneeze enough and I lose them all the time. I'll get that tickle in the nose. I'll get the squinting face and all that. And here's about to come and Dang it. Every time. So if I had the sound of a bowling strike every time I sneezed, it'd be just like getting a strike. Yes.
Jacob says the bowling. Joe says the gong. The Sedge says
we got a 50-50
both.
going on here.
Yeah, Bassreich says to be able to do both would be cool. Man, everyone's picking both. Call says both. Bassreich says B. I don't burp that much, but I sneeze too much. So it'd be bowling pin after bowling pin after bowling pin.
Well, hey, it just means that none of your sneezes would ever be a 7-10 split.
I love sneezing, though. Sneezing feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love sneezing. And when I do it, I'm over dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm at work, I like turn a direction where nobody's at, and I'm just like, yeah, I like let it out.
I used to think that my sneezes were.
Let's stop doing
I
it.
used to think my sneezes were over dramatic and overblown because my dad's always got the same ones, and they would come out of nowhere too and scare the crap out of you. So whenever I would sneeze like that, I always thought I was being over dramatic till I realized whenever I try to sneeze quietly or like appropriately in the situation, I found that I can never quiet it down. So like my sneezes are always boisterous. But 55% of Barstool readers chose B on that one, which is funny because we were 50-50 in it with our audience here, so that's about right.
Well, yeah, so a little more people would choose the bowling or
would choose this sound of a strike.
Yeah, the bowling strike. Yeah, it's about right.
It's a satisfying sound. It really is.
This one's kind of funny. I like this one, and it's got a little heavier lean to one question over the other. This would be an interesting question in like 10 years because maybe this question would change in 10 years. I don't know. And maybe regionally it would be a different answer. So I'll be interested to see from other countries. There's a lot of people from different countries
It'll be
on.
regional.
So.
I'm fairly local.
Would you rather throw up every time someone says McDonald's? Yeah, I ate at McDonald's the other day.
How random.
So you have to throw up every time someone says McDonald's. And honestly... And I don't hear McDonald's all the time, but I do have a coworker that eats there about at least once a month. And so she'd be like, yeah, I got McDonald's this morning. And she'd be like, I guess she'd probably just stop saying that.
Well,
and like, well, every time I say it, you'll throw up.
The people who would know it would begin to abuse it for sure.
Oh, that would be true. If they were ill-willed.
Yeah, if somebody could make me puke on command, I'm sure there's a few people in my lap that just be like, oh, this is the funniest thing ever. Guys, come over here, check this out.
That'd be horrible. Or, this is your other choice here, and I don't really like this choice, wear a fedora for the rest of your life, and if anyone asked you about it, you'd have to say, I like the way it looks.
Oh.
I like the way it looks. You have to say that word for word.
So
What's that about?
So I'd rather be
a fedora
throwing up
forever.
Whenever somebody said McDonald's, or
wear a fedora and say, I like the way it
Jason
looks.
Mraz the rest of my life.
And when they say, what's that about? You have to say, I like the way it looks.
Yeah. I like the way it looks.
I like
totally
the way
a
it
hipster
looks.
thing to say it too. I've been wearing it since before it was cool. So
The weird thing is it says I like the way it looks, but it has a question mark.
I like the way it looks.
I like the way it looks.
He says with an inflection.
Inflection,
maybe. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to? Yeah. Throw up or fedora. I guess I look good with a fedora.
Jason Mraz, indeed.
I would.
Wow. What's McDonald's? Skywalker Vader. I know, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
hilarious.
hope you're
fedora,
just that naive
fedora.
for all the right reasons, but come on, man. Unfortunately, everybody knows what McDonald's is.
I just don't eat at McDonald's ever. And my family has taken my lead. I'm like, so this is the deal. Go to McDonald's, order one of their basic burgers, like a Big Mac or a double or whatever, and then just take the meat out and then just look at the meat really closely, or get like a little, like an eye, like a spectacle thing, and just look at the meat. Just look at the meat and then just decide if you ever want to eat there again. That's it. Just do that. Just do that. Just do me a favor. Just physically look at that meat. There's like boils and pockmarks and zits, and it's
just
not
one of those things you just don't do, you know?
That's my point. If you can't physically inspect what you're shoving in your mouth, it's a problem. And I've always been like this as a child. What's funny is, like, I was eating Lucky Charms as a kid, and I always inspect my food, and I was like eating the Lucky Charms, and I saw this it's like a little Lucky Charm marshmallow, and there was something on it, and I was like, what is that? And I grabbed it, and I had this little little spectacle thing that I would pick up, and
a monocle.
a monocle, but it was a magnifying glass, and I like stuck it in my eye and like started to like look at it, and it was a frickin' bug that had his head stuck in the marshmallow. He died with his head in the marshmallow. And
if it was an ant or a bug that really liked sugar, he died happy.
Yeah, but you know what? I couldn't eat Lucky Charms for like 10 years of my life. And
I can't imagine why.
And that's my point. I look at my food and I find hair in my food. I'm like, I'm done. Or like, whatever. And I know it's like just a visual thing or whatever, but when I was younger, I would look at my food, and McDonald's, I'd look at the meat. I can look at Burger King's beef and I'm like, it's borderline.
Yeah.
I look at Wendy's, I'm like totally cool with it. I'm like, Wendy's great. I'm fine with the beef. Like that looks
surprisingly
normal.
good standards.
Yeah, they have surprisingly good standards. I'm like, Wendy's is pretty much the gold standard for fast food. When I look at the beef, I'm like, that looks like real, actual meat. That looks, I mean, they're either doing good trickery here or that looks pretty good. But
Culver's supposedly has it.
They're tricking me here because it looks good. McDonald's, I just can't bring myself to shove any of that in my face. I can't do it.
Although,
do it.
All that to be said, what the heck do they put on or in their fries? Because when it comes across the board, I can eat the burger and throw away the fries at practically any fast food establishment. Wendy's was okay there for a while with their natural cut fries and sea salt. That was pretty good. But what is it about McDonald's fries? I can throw away the burger and eat the fries. Very odd.
Yeah, it's mixed up.
Jacob being a proud chef, yeah, I can see why. So you probably throw up every time you hear McDonald's anyways. So, I mean, I guess it would just kind of be a natural occurrence for you then, huh? Any chef worth their salt is probably just like, oh, don't talk to me about fast food places, please. And you act like, oh, it's such great gourmet food. No.
I don't know. And if anyone likes McDonald's, I apologize.
We're not getting on you for liking McDonald's.
I went on a rant about how bad they are, but
And again, it's like all things vices. In moderation. I think that we can survive a lot of horrible foods if we're eating it once in a while. But if like for a while there, when I was working at a job where I had to open the store every morning, I was going and getting McDonald's breakfast every morning for like a year and a half. And I suffered for that. And then once I decided to cut that out, I went into Red Bull and Monster to keep myself alive and well when I was managing the same store because of the ridiculous retail hours. I almost killed myself with that. Another long story, but I gave myself a heart arrhythmia and had to drive myself to the hospital and spent 3 days there to get tested out for all that stuff because I was giving myself a heart attack, basically.
So Red Bull gave you a heart arrhythmia wings.
Gave my heart wings and it tried to fly out of my chest. Yeah.
So throw up anytime someone says McDonald's. That's what I would do.
Or wear a fedora. I don't know. I guess I'm a fairly stylish person. I could pull off fedoras
every day for the rest of your life,
as opposed to having people being able to say McDonald's and make me puke all over the place. I don't know. I guess one would be less of a hassle than the other one, wouldn't it?
One would happen like every so often.
As opposed to having to like put up with a fedora for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because really, I don't wear them. I've worn them before, and for the occasional occasion, like I'm a derby bowler fan myself, not a fedora, but just because I like the era better. So. Hats never scare me, but I guess if that's something I have to do for the rest of my life and respond in kind, then I guess McDonald's, that makes more sense.
67%. So 2 out of every 3 people would rather just throw up when they hear McDonald's than have to wear a fedora and say, I like the way it looks.
Because as we've seen, some people do that anyways. McDonald's, about them.
Yeah.
About that. So
about that.
Moving on to my last one here.
Yeah, let's see.
We're just pulling it up. We're pulling things out and down here. So would you rather be able to throw 105, which I'm assuming they mean 105 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Or dunk?
Dunk. Totally, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I've never been able to dunk on an actual proper height.
I'm too much of a baseball fan. If I could throw 105, I can throw 90, no problem. But if I were to throw 105, that would be something else.
I just want to pull off.
I would use that. Whereas a dunk, I can't dribble. That's pretty much. I dribble as good as LeBron can dribble.
You dribble.
So I'd be get called all the time. So I wouldn't. I would not use dunking skills, whereas I'd totally use fast pitching skills.
Yeah, I would. Total Michael Jordan fan. I'd be like, that would be so much fun.
Oh, and who's not a Michael Jordan fan? But I'm just saying.
The fastball. I mean, that's
I'm not
cool.
a basketball fan, and even I know Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Yeah, I don't know. Fastballs are cool, and if you can throw 80 miles an hour or above, it's like, to me, it's all kind of the same. I don't know.
Yes and no. There's definitely different things you can do with that. Pitching is definitely the hardest position in baseball for sure. And
A white man can't
pitchers
dunk.
don't last as long as most other players do. So it's kind of a time-sensitive skill to have.
The Sedge says, since he's 3 feet tall wearing a fedora every day, watch him drunk throwing up for McDonald's. He'd be a sight to see. Well, since those are all the choices you've made, yes, you're going to be dunking. Yeah. Joseph says dunk. A lot of dunks, a lot of people dunking, although there's a couple people who say, Joe Widener says he can dunk already. That's amazing. Yeah. Tall anyway, so that's pretty good.
Well, didn't he say he's 6'5"? So yeah,
something,
I would say that he'd be able to.
6'7", 6'5", something. I don't know. He's a tall dude.
Yeah. Well, Michael Jordan was only 6'6", so in a sense, he was a short guy in the league.
What was the spread on the internet?
The spread on the poll for that one was 58% of the readers said they would choose throwing a 105-mile-an-hour pitch.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
That's funny. I was expecting them to say dunk. I expect a lot of people to say dunk, but for me personally, I was definitely a fast pitch.
Yeah. Skywalker Vader said fastball too.
Well, and I think even these days too, there's not as many people who can throw anything over 100 miles an hour too. So there's like a Aroldis Chapman on the New York Yankees, and he's he's a prick. So I guess it's a kind of a waste of talent, unfortunately.
So this question is kind of a tricky one for me. And I'm gonna do an over analysis, but I'm gonna give it to you first and them first, and then I'll tell you my analysis because the Sedge says he's actually 400 pounds in dunking, but 3 feet sounded better. So pull the internet. Would you rather always have hiccups or always have a headache?
That's easy for me, specifically because I used to get horrible migraines as a kid.
It just says headache. It doesn't say migraines.
Well, horrible migraines that give me, every time a headache comes on, it gives me a flashback of that, to where it's like, great, here comes the nausea, here comes the horrible feeling, here comes the light sensitivity, the sound sensitivity, here's wanting to crawl into a bed and die instantaneously just to get this horrible, agonizing, acid-burning feeling out of my brain. It's funny, I've heard other people describe it as like feeling like their brain's swelling to the point where it's about to explode. For me, it felt like somebody literally poured acid in my ear and it was just slowly eating my brain away. Yeah. But
hiccups.
Yeah, hiccups for sure.
I see no other Jedi. Hiccups, Bastard. Hiccups, Jacob John, retracted, Joe Wagner, hiccups. Seth, the Sage says, you can hide a headache, but hiccups would make it hard to speak because it would be always having hiccups.
If it wasn't for my bad past with headaches and migraines, I would say headaches for sure. But
call later, brother. You have fun. See you later, brother. We'll do story time here in just a second. And so if you can jump back on later on, you can listen to the story time. Because we're gonna do that here in just a second. Hey, I'm gonna have bowling here in just a second. Am I number 2?
I think so.
Am I number 2? Yep, I'm number 2. I'm number 2.
No, you might be number 3. I'm number 2.
Or number 3, yeah. That's why.
Did it work?
Bowling pin. I just wanted to mute so everybody didn't have to get that.
Bowl the turkey. Yes.
Otherwise I could have a hangover all the time. I hate headaches, definitely.
Yeah.
So most people are
headache.
picking, strike, Joe Wagner. Most would pick hiccups. My issue is listen, I took a 54-foot fall in the Navy, broke my back, neck, and hips, and ever since then I've had migraines every day pretty much. I'm on migraine medicine, which doesn't really actually get rid of my headaches. It helps suppress my headaches.
Yeah.
And then
it's almost a placebo at this point.
Yeah, and then I take supplementary headache medicine on top of the headache medicine to try and suppress it even further. And sometimes I am headache free and sometimes I'm not. I pretty much live with headaches every day. So this question, would you rather have headaches or hiccups? I kind of live with headaches every day. So I'd rather just do the headache than the hiccup, right? Because I don't want hiccups. Like I'm a salesman, so I don't want to have to like when I'm trying to sell. That would be a nightmare. So the question, the easy answer is just headache over hiccups because I live with that already. That's the easy answer. That would be basically the simple answer. But if I wanted to get really complex, it would be really nice to select hiccups and get rid of my headaches for life because I've had them forever and I've never been able to get rid of them fully. It would be nice to get rid of my headaches and choose hiccups. And this is why I control my own hiccups. I learned how to do it. You've seen it. I've learned how to do it.
I know how to do that quite well.
Yeah. I learned how to do this when I was I was 16. I was around someone. I started hiccuping and they were like, you don't know how to control your diaphragm? You don't know how to control hiccups? I was like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, it's just a diaphragm control. It's a muscle spasm. So it's just a muscle you need to learn to control. And the more you do it, the better you'll get. And it takes a few years, but you can control that. And I was like, that's bull. And they were like, no, it's true. Just do this. And after a few years, you'll have control over that muscle that's controlling your diaphragm. Just try it. And I tried for over a year, and I noticed my hiccup sessions got shorter, but never got gone. And then the next year I noticed I actually gained control over them. And now I rarely ever, almost never get hiccups. But when I do, I can literally take a slow, deep breath in and slow, deep breath out, and they're gone 100% of the time. And I can get rid of hiccups. And what's funny is I'll hiccup, and someone in my life, because they all know I can control hiccups, they'll laugh. They're like, oh, you got hiccups, you got hiccups, you got hiccups. And then I'll go, no, I don't. And they'll go, no. And they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. And they want one more to come back because they want to prove me wrong. And it just never happens. So I've learned diaphragm control. So if having hiccups means you can have them, but get rid of them on your own accord, so they come back, but you can get rid of them. And so I just like,
good reasoning.
Then I would rather be able to forever get rid of my headaches, take the hiccups, and then when the hiccups come from time to time, I'd be able to get rid of them.
Just calm them down.
I'd rather do that. But if it's something I'd have to have perpetually, I already have headaches perpetually, and then I would just
don't want to add one on top of it.
I'd rather not just add a secondary issue.
I've got the same control. I get them. The thing is, my hiccups are real deep in my diaphragm, so it makes my whole body lurch, and it's pretty exuberant. But I have to literally like suck air all the way deep into my diaphragm, and then I have to hold it to the point of actually plugging my nose. And as long as I can do that for 5 full seconds, then it actually calms everything down enough that I can slowly exhale. But it's always on the exhale when I get the hiccup.
So 65% said they would choose hiccups, but it says always have hiccups.
Right.
I always have a headache. I have a headache right now, you guys. I literally have a headache right now. Mm-hmm. It's a small one. I would, on a scale of 1 to 10, you guys are my doctor. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd put it at a 2. It's not horrific, but it's there. It's always present. So it's a 2. So we're done with all the cards. Time for story time.
Story time.
Story time. Okay, calm down.
I know that's your favorite part.
I know. They're laughing. No. All right. So we're going to do story time. Story time comes by way of about 2 months ago. What happened was, hold on. All right. Got to turn the old, hat backwards.
And turn the thinking cap on.
Yeah, turn the thinking cap on. So this story comes by way of my house. Honestly, this is just a weird story. I don't know what happened or why. Don't know who did it. But it kind of freaked us out a little bit at our house, to the point we're getting 4 cameras for the house, which is kind of a sad day and age where we live, where we have to get closed circuit cameras for the house to watch our house. This is really stupid, but so about 2 months ago, went outside and noticed my garage door, and it looked like it had been kicked in, like multiple repetitively been kicked. And I opened it up a little, and on the inside, it was like broken. And I was like, man, that takes a lot of force. And so I kind of assumed the best, like somebody didn't intentionally do it. And I thought, man, maybe somebody fell into it multiple times accidentally, like fell and then tried to get up and fell and tried to get up and fell. I don't know. Like, so I was thinking, well, how could that happen? Like maybe it was one of my daughters on a skateboard or something. So I asked my daughters, and they're like, no, that didn't happen. And I took them at their word, but I thought maybe.
Oops, I property damaged. Oops, I property damaged again.
Maybe it was them, but I took them at their word, and I was like, okay, it wasn't them. So I don't know what happened. Somebody ran their car into it. Maybe they were parking, and maybe they accidentally smashed it, and then backed up, and I don't know, rolled into it, and then tried to like back up and roll into it and tried to back. I don't know. But anyway, you know what? It's like happy life. You just let things go, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm at that point in my life where it's just, you don't choose these battles with your family, right? You just let things go. So I'm at that point where it's like, choose peace, so I just chose peace. So you order a new garage door. So I ordered a new garage door, but it was bad enough when you open the garage door, you know, it's like, it goes, and it's sagging, like it's broken. So like, you know, the garage door is like this and it comes up and there's like, and it's like Ving. It's like really broken. And I can't have my cars inside the garage anymore because of this. And it's like, cause it's going to like, you know, collapse and fall
Can't
completely
park my
down.
Camaro in there and my garage door's tacoing.
No, and everybody knows I waited 20 years to finally get a dream car. I waited, you know, 20 years of putting everything into my wife and children, you know, financially, taking care of my family. And finally my family's, you know, grown and, you know, bills are pretty much all paid off. And except for my house, we got about 10 years left of that, but, want to get a, you know, a dream car and it's like the right timing. And so I finally buy this nice Camaro. A lot of people know I got that 50th anniversary Camaro. And so I can't park it in there because I'm like, man, this garage door is going to fall on this Camaro and it's going to be bad news bears. So I pull it out and I park it out in front of the house. But I'm like, man, now it's going to, you know, possibly overnight get vandalized. I mean, I'm not in a bad neighborhood, but I'm not necessarily, I mean, the town I live in, it's like you can have a good neighborhood and a bad neighborhood and a good neighborhood and a bad neighborhood, all like within like a 2-mile stretch. Like it's not, I mean, someone on a bike literally can go from a bad neighborhood to a good neighborhood to a bad neighborhood all in 2 miles.
Convenience is convenience to a criminal.
Yeah. In 10 miles, you can go through 10 good neighborhoods and 10 bad neighborhoods in 10 miles. Like it's a small town, like it, you know, so anyway, it's just, it is what it is. So we have a decent neighborhood, but so I'm assuming the best, but I'm kind of in the back of my head thinking this was intentional. Somebody kicked in my door. Like, why the hell would they have broke my garage door? So they ordered me a garage door, this company, and it ends up taking like 6 weeks to get the garage door in. But in the meantime, my wife tells me, you know, I think some shingles flew off the neighbor's house and smashed into the side of our house. This was the same night, by the way, that the garage door incident occurred. And she's like, it hit the side of the house and damaged the house. And I didn't think anything of it. And this has happened before at like other houses, like where people's shingles fly off and hit your house or whatever. And I was like, okay.
We get microbursts around here. It can be windy.
Yeah. I mean, we get times where it's like 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts and you're like, oh my God. And somebody's roof half rips off and you're just like, oh my God. So I just assumed, I took her at her word that what she said was true. I didn't know if she was right or wrong. I just assumed what she said was right. I didn't look. I just assumed there was a little bit of some shingles because that's what she said, she thought. And I figured there was some like maybe some scratches or something on the side of the house or maybe a single piece of siding that was busted or something. So I didn't bother to look. That was my fault. But this was the same night that the garage door happened. She just said, oh, by the way, when that garage doors thing, that was her explanation. She said, well, maybe the wind shook the garage door so bad that it broke the garage door. And I was like, no. By the way, this says, I hope this isn't an unsolved mystery. It is. It's an unsolved mystery of epic proportion. Actually, it's
Thus
a really
the
bad
cameras.
Yeah. The reason why we need the cameras. And so anyway, I'm like, well, there was really bad wind, but there's no way. It's like literally dented, like where someone had kicked it or whatever.
There would be signs of other ridiculous wind damage. Something like that was enough to bend
But I'm an
garage
idiot.
door in half.
I'm just like, you know me, I'm like, peace. I don't want to like blame anybody. And I think this is wind damage over here. And I'm like, this can't be wind damage. It's a kid, but whatever. She wants to blame it on wind. And so I'm just going to mad elk. Yeah. Mad elk. We do have deer that actually come through right in front of our house. So I was just like, whatever, but no, it's
way
not
too many
that.
domesticated mule deer around here.
Yeah. So, but I'm just letting this go. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to get mad. I'm just this is what, you know, I work hard for. I've got a little bit of savings. I'm just going to buy a new damn garage door, $1,000. This sucks, but whatever. So I stomach it. I just put it on a charge card and, you know, we just move forward. So I park my Camaro outside of the garage and a week later I get a flat tire. And what happens is I like drive to work and on my way to work, it's like goes flat almost immediately, like as I'm going to work. So I like on the way to work, have to stop at like a discount tire, which is like a tire place. And I pull in and they're like, oh man, you got a screw in your tire. And the weird thing is the screw's like attached to a little board. And it looks like somebody maybe kind of intentionally did this.
Maybe to help keep it standing upright.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And they're like, yeah, well, anyway, your tire's like practically brand new, so we can patch it. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I don't know. And they're like, did you run through construction? I'm like, oh, no. It was just straight from here to there. And it's like perfect roads. But anyway, it was probably just, something that flipped up on the road. No big deal. I'm not putting two and two together. Week later, same day, but exactly a week later, driving to work, get further along, literally right at work. My left side starts warning lights, and there's a discount tire right next to my work. Literally, there's two of them. One's like 2 miles away. One's like right next to my work. And it's the other tire, the other back tire. And I pull in. It's a different discount tire. And they're like, oh, of all irony, you have a screw in your tire. It actually got a board on the screw. It's really weird. I've never seen this before. Same exact freaking thing that the other one had. So I now know, they don't, but I now know, because these are two different companies, I now know I'm being targeted, that somebody has spent the last 3 weeks targeting me. They broke my garage door, forcing me to move my car out. And then they popped my right back tire, popped my left back tire. So anyway, I'm like, I just got to leave well enough alone. I don't know who's being a jerk, but somebody doesn't like the fact that I have a new car, and they're just trying to be a jerk, and they're trying to get under my skin. And so you start wondering kind of under your mind, like,
is there anybody who's pissed off recently?
Well, and then you start wondering, like, who's mad at my wife? Who's mad at me? Who's mad at my son? Like what enemies do I have? Like, I have nobody I've made mad like recently. I've done nothing to nobody. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I have no enemies. So you start wondering, like, who is this that's like upset, or who would do this? Mm-hmm. So you start going through that. But anyway, we decide to go camping. A few of you that follow me on Twitter know a few weeks ago, I went camping. I took pictures of us camping and stuff, right? We went on some hikes. It was really cool. There were some really cool pictures that I posted of some really fun hikes up on the Uncompahgre. But when we went, we wanted to take the four-wheelers. And so I had to get the trailer out. And the trailer was over on the side of the house where that shingle damage was, or where my wife said there was shingle damage. And so I went over there and I pulled the trailer out, and there was like bikes over there and like a bunch of crap on the trailer. I get it all cleared out, and I'm like looking at the side of the house. It's not shingle damage. Somebody had taken like M80s, M100s, and had specifically targeted our electrical system of our house and tried to blow our house up. They had thrown multiple, which it's M80s aren't going to do the trick. Right. So there's just obviously some.
I'm guessing mortars.
Yeah, it was like mortars or something, but there was like gunpowder residue on the side of the house. The explosions were approximately 6 foot height going lateral. There was multiple, like 5 or 6. They actually hit the electrical box, hit the gas lines, and exploded. A few of them actually hit the side of the house. One of them hit an electrical wire, blew the electrical wire right off the house. Some of the siding's been blown completely off the house. There's like multiple holes in the side of the house. I mean, literally targeted me. And I was like, my God, honey, this is not like, this wasn't wind.
The shingle didn't pick itself back up and hit the siding three or 4 more times. This wasn't wind.
This wasn't a shingle. Like, someone freaking targeted, like, what the hell were you talking about? She's like, well, I didn't even really pay attention. I didn't look at it. I just thought that's what it was. I was like, did you not even look? And she's like, not really. And I was like, oh my God. This was the night, of course, that the garage door occurred. So now I know that we've been actually targeted vandalism. Somebody's like literally trying to like blow our electrical box up with the explosives. And we know the exact
thank goodness
weekend.
There's enough safety precautions involved in all the gas lines there that it takes something pretty massive to blow that up. But I mean, that's intent.
Yeah. So I call the police. They come and they look and they go, oh yeah, someone was trying to blow your electrical box up, but obviously they used stupid, like underpowered explosives, but there was explosive residue on the wall. They took samples of, there was lots of explosives. They took lots of pictures and stuff. And there was some leftover, stuff, residue on the ground and stuff. And they were like, well, when did this happen? And so anyway, I got that and I did an insurance claim. So, I mean, the good news is like the insurance is going to pay for all but the deductible, and we're getting it fixed and the garage door fixed and like all of that got covered. But so the big mystery is, who did this? Like, who decided to come to Warrior's house and try and blow my freaking family up by blowing my electrical box up, kicking my garage door in, and targeting my car and being a douchebag, right? Really, like, who does this?
And if for some reason you're watching, it'd really only blow the garage up. It wouldn't do much damage to the rest of the house. So it's kind of a wasted effort.
So anyway, we're like trying to figure it out. Well, I have nobody. I mean, I was a cop for like 7 years or whatever. So, I mean, there are people that are like, I'm going to kill you. And like I've always said, if I die, it could be those people. that said they were going to come and kill me, but I doubt it because most of those people are still in prison. So I don't think it was one of those people. And I haven't been a cop for like 8 years. And so a lot of those people that say that, like, they get out and they like move on with their life. A lot of them don't even remember what my name was. So I don't think it was any of those individuals. It says kids have enemies that would do stuff like that. And that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, so the only person, my daughters don't really have any enemies. So then I'm like, well, it's my wife or my son. And my son, he was dating a girl across the street and he's no longer dating her. And she wants to get back with him, but he's got a new girlfriend that he's serious with. And the girl across the street's pretty pissed about it. So I told the cops that. I'm like, it could be her. And they're like, that house? And they're like, he was dating her? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, they're like, oh, well, that's who did it. And I was like, what? And they're like, oh, yeah, there's like 13 people that live in that house. We get called there like 3 times a night.
They're all vindictive. And
the girl probably didn't do it, but there's like 8 guys that live in that house. They probably, grabbed a bunch of M100s, M80s, and they probably kicked your door and, tried to blow your side of the house up, threw it at your box. That's probably who did it. And so they kind of open and shut. They weren't going to talk to him because there's no proof, but that's who they assumed. They said, just get cameras, open and shut, file an insurance claim. There you go. So that's the possibility. Is that she was, she's like 20, and those are her roomies that are like in their early 20s. That's a possibility that they were just like revenge, because he won't date her or whatever, and she's a psycho.
L-Dub, have you met some of the teenage girls these days? Just saying.
Well, and it's motive, opportunity, and means, right? I mean, they have the means. I've seen them like throw those kinds of things down during 4th of July and all that. A little bit later, they all had those types of explosives they were throwing outside of their house.
Yeah, the Sedge gets it.
Yep. 2, it's motive. She was pissed off. And 3 means they're literally across the street. So that's a possibility, but whatever. It is what it is. But that's the one suspect with the candlestick that's in the library. The other one is, and this one's interesting. My wife had a friend from 20 years ago and she was married and her friend cheated with her husband. That's why my wife got divorced from her first husband with this girl. And so my wife obviously got divorced from her first husband and then met me and we've been married ever since. That girl that used to be her friend that got with her ex-husband, they got, obviously she did that terrible thing and then they got separated. Well, she eventually got together and is married with my wife's ex-husband. So this crazy chick that like ruined my wife's first marriage is now married to my wife's ex-husband. And ironically, she was in town that weekend that all this occurred, with the exception of, and she was in town for like 3 weeks or whatever, trying to repair her relationship with the ex, with my wife's ex. So she was in town during this period of time. So she actually, of all people, was in here. Now people are probably saying, why would she 20 years later just come and target you and your house? Like, why would she do that? Well, first off, she's psycho. She was extremely psycho back then, and she still is. The second reason is...
You could say she was a paleontologist. She loved digging up the past.
Yeah. The second reason is she actually came back into Connie's life just that weekend and had asked Connie for forgiveness and had said, can we kind of like bury the past, bury the hatchet, and can we be friends again? And Connie said, no, that's okay. Don't want to be your friend. And it really bothered her. And then she started asking the kids, the older 2 are actually from Connie's first marriage, had started asking the kids where we lived. She wanted to figure that out. And all she had to do was like follow, because one of the son, my son Dylan, is from her first marriage. She could have just followed him home or whatever. So anyway,
a number of ways you can figure that out these days.
She is the one that has the club in the living room. So anyway, those are the only 2 options that I could figure out. But we never know. I've got 4 total cameras that I've all have set up, and I'll get that all figured out. It's just stupid that I live in a day and age now where I have to have a high def camera system completely set up on the front yard, backyard, every door, every, system, everything, covering every aspect of every part of the house. It's ridiculous, but
I've
that's
had him
the
on
world
my house.
we live in now.
Had him on my house now for
SureShot prank.
Yeah, right. I've had cameras on my house now for at least 3 years, and I think that does get established because there's been some shady people that drive by. I've seen some scenarios where they are totally casing my place because I've got I've got things around that people would consider easy, expensive steals. So I've had those up for a while. But the other fun thing you might get at some point that I had recently on my closed circuit cameras was at 1 o'clock in the morning, some neighbors of mine, and I recognized them on the camera, decided to get frisky in the middle of the street, like go all the way. And they lined up perfectly with 2 of my cameras in front of my house just to give me a show.
Wow.
So you might get some. It's interesting what you find out on those because there's plenty of accidents that you happen to see. You know, cops that show up and you wonder what started that kind of stuff or whatever. Then all of a sudden, yeah, whatever. What's this other little red slash here? It said something happened at 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, okay.
You're like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
I know what's going on there. Wait, they're facing the camera. They lined up in the middle of the street with oh, okay. Well, glad you guys had your fun. Yeah, all right then.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the only 2. Like my son's ex-girlfriend acting a fool, or my wife's ex-friend that's pissed that she can't be friend, like she can't rekindle friendship. Both of those girls do have a history of being a bit nutty. The wife's friend actually more so. And I mean, getting arrested and being on medication and bipolar and a bunch of other things.
Oh my.
So there's a bunch more there. But anyway, a long story short, we don't know. Totally got vandalized. Don't have a solution to it other than I just let insurance step in. Insurance got the police report, looked at it and went, okay, fine, we'll step in. I already paid for the garage door. The deductible was the same price as the garage door. So whatever. They ended up paying the rest of everything. So that was good. So yeah. And now I got a camera system coming in. So hopefully I'll get a reduction in insurance.
Yeah, they like it when you have that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I just got to install it. You're going to help me with that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, any worthwhile video may be coming.
Yeah. And if I ever get a video of anything cool, we will definitely play that on this.
Seeing exactly what kind of firework they launched at the house or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
What's their preferred method for garage door banging?
Yeah. So, yep, that's story time. That was fun. Well, thank you all for joining. I do try and do this every single week. It doesn't always happen. I am going to try and get
being what they may lately.
Yep. I'm going to try and get the newer OBS version because the newer OBS allows me to do some really cool overlays, and I'll hopefully be able to do DGR videos with the overlays. I think that would be fun just to do some videos. And if I don't have anyone with me, I'd be able to do DGR live and then just play some disc golf with you guys.
There you go.
Which would give me some time to just hang with you guys and play the new game. You guys could see what that's all about. So, something to do, even if I didn't have anybody else. But it's fun to chat and hang out and all of that. So thanks for everybody hanging on. SureShot, thanks for coming.
No problem. It's always fun.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. As always, you guys keep your gaming on. Warrior SureShot out.